So this morning I'm going to share with you some updates about the latest features that we delivered on our latest releases. We delivered just a few weeks ago 10.2.7 on distributed and SPE number 4 for the mainframe. I also have a recap of what we delivered in the previous release. My perception is that customers are at a lower level in comparison to what we deliver right now. So I want to recap briefly what we did in the previous release that was delivered actually in December. And if there is any interest of going into details of any of those features, we can talk about it. Okay. Then I'll also talk about the roadmap and a little bit of a strategic approach to our roadmap. Okay, first, a kind of general introduction. This is what is happening in the workload automation market. So you will not hear anymore much talking about workload automation because the market is moving towards orchestration as a generic, more generic terminology. So why we talk about enterprise orchestration? So these are the main kind of trends around the evolution of workload automation. Certainly, the first one is complexity and need to connect multiple different IT environments. So there's where we need to have a solution that is spanning through mainframe, distributed, cloud, SaaS environments, any kind of IT environments. Oh, sorry about that. Let me mute it. Okay. So it's very important for many organizations to have a solution that is able to interconnect all these multiple kind of IT environments. And that's what we can certainly provide with the combined solution of distributed and mainframe engines. We are, as you will see, we have invested to improve the interconnection capability, so cross-connection, cross-dependencies, for they can be used between multiple engines of the same time or even different engines. So there are many customers who are running the mainframe engine and also the distributed engine, and they can interconnect their job streams between the different platforms through cross dependencies. Another important topic in these days, whether we like it or not, is AI and intelligent automation. So I'm not sure how you are dealing with AI in your organization right now. There are companies that want to be sure that we do not provide AI capabilities, and companies that instead are trying to leverage AI, agentic AI, and all this stuff. Right now, in workload automation, we use AI only for limited capabilities. We provide, for example, the AI agent that is being built on the mainframe from IBM based on Watson X to provide some kind of chatbot and AI assistant, to do searches, queries using our standard interface. It's not something that it's not something that we did directly in ATL, but is what IBM built on top of our REST APIs interface. And this is something. We also have connectors in our solution that enable the possibility to invoke GenAI services. But if it ever happens in your organization that you need to connect to orchestrate AI agents, you can let us know, because we could build connectors for that. So integrations, plugins, as you want to call them. Right now, we didn't have this requirement from our workload automation customers, but we are ready to implement them if we get the requirement. So that is doable, because all these AI agents can be orchestrated through REST APIs. So it's easy for us to build an integration. So still AI, I see two main patterns. One, it can be a commodity to provide some usability improvements, some easy to use through AI agents that provide a kind of assistant capability, or connecting to external AI agents for any reason, because you have to make it part of your processes. Then observability is another strong point, all of this. Right now, it's more important on the distributed side, where we provide all sorts of metrics, data that can be used by any observability tool that you have in your environment. So you can use it with Splunk, Datadog, Dynatrace, all these kind of tools, but also with IBM Instana, where we have a special integration as we provide predefined dashboards for that. And that's another very important point, because in an enterprise, having full control on what you are automating and put it into relationship with all the rest of the tools you have in your IT environment is quite important. And that is what you get with observability. And then governance and resilience is still one of the most important topics, even more important since AI is trying to fit, to be introduced in automation. And so security, compliance, reliability are still very critical. And we can certainly provide that with our enterprise orchestration solution, that is IBM Workload Automation. Any question on this short introduction? All right, then just a mention to the recognitions we still have from the main analysts. We are being 3 times in a row leader in Magic Quadrant for Gartner and EMA. So Gartner has a specific Magic Quadrant for this kind of enterprise orchestration tools that is called SOAP, that stands for Service Orchestration and Automation Platforms. There, with both IBM and HCL Solutions are in the Magic Quadrant, so are leaders, in the Magic Quadrant. And as well, we are value leaders with the EMA report that is more well known for workload automation. It's called Radar for Automation Orchestration. Right now, they also have changed their name. But still, so our solution is very strong on the market and considered one of the best. Now, a quick glance at what we delivered on 10.26. I will just show the list of the new capabilities. Then if there is anything that you believe is particularly interesting, I can also show the detailed slide. I didn't want to have 40 slides with a number of features. So here in 10.2.6, we delivered, this is for the distributed side specifically. So the first one is an enhancement of the observability integration with IBM Instana. I think maybe Chris will mention that.
No.
Yeah, right. So we don't need to go into details unless you have questions. Then we announced the file transfer plugin, providing some new capabilities related to remote to remote file transfer, still using I think FTP, STP, SFTP protocols. We delivered a number of small enhancements, like some other enhancements in the file transfer plugin, and some commodity to check the space when you install the product. Then we started to enhance a little bit what we delivered previously on the new graphical designer. Has any of you tried the new graphical designer? No?
Okay. 10.26, 10.7, I think. What do you mean by the graphical designer? I think you'd be saying.
Yes.
And the CLI side of things, the orchestration side?
No, it's the modeling. So it's, well, I guess Gabriele will show it later if you don't have tried it. It's graphic modeling. So you have a drag and drop UI where you can define your job streams, basically your dependencies and everything. Okay, it's important.
It's a graphical version of the workload designer, basically.
Yeah, it's a graphical version of the workload designer, and could be relevant for you because it's where we intend to, in the future, to introduce the editor, the text editor for the definitions. So we'll show you later about that, okay? We'll talk later about that. But the concept in this graphical designer is that you have a workspace. You work in a Canva environment, in a graphic environment, and you have workspaces. So we are working to enhance this concept of workspace. It's your area of work when you are modeling, let's say in the modeling phase, to support multiple workspaces that can be used at the same time. As you will see in our latest release, we delivered the possibility to merge them. So we are enhancing this concept of the workspace because in the future, we also want to enable a full DevOps cycle based on that. So you will have approval flows, so and deployment to multiple environments. So you can have your you can use it to define your own or modify your own definitions, your job streams. Then you could have this modeling based on a development environment. Then you can send it to approval to the scheduling expert of your team that has to review and approve the changes or the new definitions. And you can decide to click a button and deploy it to a test environment, or from a test environment to a production environment. So to have a full change management cycle on this concept of workspace. Now, this is an evolution that will come in the next 1 to 2 years. So it's important that you know about it, even if you're not willing to use it right now. It may be handy in the future.
How does that handle changes in workstation names and things like that? How does it? Sorry, I don't know if it's a specific question, but if you're able to deploy it to one environment and then to another, you're going to have different workstation names, I assume. So
we still have to design that part, but okay. Probably we may introduce like rules which you can define to map the names depending on your naming conventions. That should be the standard.
When you import those definitions, a set of validations are triggered. So you will see that those definitions have errors, have validation errors because the matching objects are not there. So we will provide our way to replace those values in a way that you can import those definitions to the external, but to the new environment with your references.
So sort of variable driven.
Yes.
Alias driven.
Yeah.
We used to have already I mean, we do have an integration with an external IBM tool that is called Urban Code Deploy, where you can customize a flow inside the Urban Code Deploy when you promote definitions from an environment to another, you have rules and you get automatically the names updated. I guess we will design something similar. Then some security announcements that were related to the certificates and the JWT certification, yes. And some new platform added for support for Oracle tools. This version 8.62.04 and Java Runtime Environment 21 for IBM I. We still support the agent for IBM I. Okay, next was the announcement we delivered.
Marco, can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
The customer RFEs,
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way of seeing which RFE is satisfied in which version of the software?
Yes. If you go to the documentation, there's a what's new section, and we always list the numbers of the RFEs that are implemented with that release.
Okay, because I know on the ideas side,
Obviously,
it just says delivered.
yes.
Or future consideration and things like that.
Doesn't say in which release
Yes.
it's been delivered. Okay. Well, we could take the habit to update that in the idea field. So when we set it to delivered, we may specify in which release. That could be an announcement already.
That would be really useful.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
I will talk with the guys and in my team. And the other thing is that anyway, in the documentation, that information is available. Okay.
Thank you.
It's the same thing for an APAR. If there's my customers are saying, will it make 10.2.7? Will it make 10.2.8? They only know until it really gets released. I know it's difficult to know.
That's a slightly different question because we try to, include as many APARs as possible. So the team is trying to, to push everything that is possible. So some of them maybe are recent and we don't really know until the end if they make it or not. So we have these very short development cycles. Normally, if it's not in that release, it will be in the next, but yeah, okay. That is published anyway as well when the release is delivered. Okay, this is instead the contents. Okay, the title is wrong. This is SPE3, but ignore the title. So what we delivered here in December was announcement on the cross dependency on C. Basically, what we implemented was all the matching criteria. Sorry, until now we have both on distributed and mainframe 4 matching criteria for dependencies. So not only the closest preceding that has been always the default, but also same day or an interval of time and so on. But those matching criteria on Z were not available for cross dependencies. And this was causing some reliability issues because sometimes the connection, the binding was to the wrong occurrence. So introducing this more matching criteria is very useful, especially for customers who are using either cross-dependency between engines of different type, distributed mainframe, but even for mainframe customers who have a very large environment. We have many of them, both in France and in Germany. they have multiple controllers because they have millions of jobs per day. And so they have to get this workload spread in multiple controllers. They need interconnection. And without this more sophisticated matching criteria, it was difficult to use cost dependencies. So that was the main announcement in December. Some announcement on the new orchestration monitor. Is any of you using the new orchestration monitor?
Trying to one.
Trying to, okay.
Not so.
All right.
We'll do that today.
Also,
Are you not leaving?
also here, I won't spend too many words because Gabriele is going to around, show demo and talk about it. Then there was a very specific announcement. This is an RFE or idea, as we call them now, about the current plan buffer pool management, and another one about WAPOL. This was actually a requirement from German customers. It's a requirement that is basically a workaround on the mainframe when you have many ITT applications and you go, beyond the limit of the since we have this year time and it is just in hours and minutes, we should make it in seconds, but we are not ready to announce that yet. So they changed the application name, and they wanted to have a field where they can keep the original application name. So we did this announcement for them to at least enable the workaround.
Strangely enough, that feature was the very first feature that anybody ever used SOE, which became WAPL 4. It was a company in the United States that ended up using it 5,000 times a day to get around the 1440 limit.
Yeah.
Probably the oldest feature in WAPL.
Okay, so now let's take a closer look at the most recent delivery. Lots of new features on distributed and also on Z. Still, I'll go fast because here I have all the detailed slides, and of course I will concentrate on what you feel more interesting if you have questions and so on. So more announcement on the file transfer plugin. Also on the DB plugin, basically the DB maintenance suite is if you're around the plugin or
we include some maintenance script which is useful for DB administrators.
Yes.
For the WC and the master in the engine. Every time there is an upgrade, those maintenance scripts should be run for organization benefits.
What DB is that support?
All the supported database.
Yes, all the supported database for the master. The workspace merge is I cannot touch. So the workspace merge is what I mentioned before about this new concept of workspace. Multiple stream submission. This is about bulk submission of job stream altogether. So this has been in our list of requirements for a long time. So this is first delivery about that. Then the possibility to nest job streams.
Those are all connected.
Yes.
For job stream submission, the nested job stream, which is a feature inside the multiple job stream submission, and the uncycle-based submission, which is another feature that we have included in the multiple job stream submission. So with that main functionality, multiple job stream submission, we try to tackle down lots of requirements which we have for some time from the customers, and improve also the user experience during the submission. So as of now, there is a separate page where you can single select job stream and submit. Now, with this new experience and the additional features, you have lots of other options to include during the submission. I'll show you that later.
Yes. Then run cycle based submission. You can specify now a run cycle when you submit a job stream dynamically. The possibility to a new plugin to send events to ServiceNow, if I understood properly. Run cycle preview available on the graphic designer, and some enhancements on the orchestration monitor that Gabriele will show later, and also some enhancements to the orchestration command line. But let's take a look at a few of the details. So these are, is any of you using the file transfer plugin?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. So we are still enhancing a little bit with customer requirements, basically. So here there are some enhancements, small capabilities enhancements, like minimum file size validation and other fields that have been added. But I suggest to take a look at the details if you are using the plugin and see whether that can be useful to you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for my company, we're obviously using a dedicated MFT tool and playing with the integration there to deliver it. We certainly need to have more observability within the automation estate, so we are interested in what we can do with it.
All right. This is the suite for database maintenance and optimization. So this is basically a script that we have delivered that helps our customers to perform database maintenance. We are talking, of course, of the database of the product. So we support this on script for all the supported databases. Here there is the list: Oracle, MS, Microsoft MS SQL, Informix, Postgres SQL, DB2. So this is a way to have you keep your database in a healthy condition, basically.
Lots of times there could be some performance issues because the database is not well maintained. Because during an upgrade, the indexes must be regenerated, renovated. So in order to address and avoid to end up in that type of situation, we provided those type of scripts. So it's an action that must be done just after the upgrade, to regenerate the indexes, to reorg the database in a way that everything is compliant with the performances that we usually test on the lab environments.
Is that online?
No. The scripts are included directly in the packages. You
I mean, the database online.
The what?
The database being online.
No, not necessarily. It could be also on on-premise machine.
No, the database being available whilst you're doing those.
Yes.
Did you just say then when you did, if you do a config DB upgrade, say to 10.27, say that also will do the rationalizing of the database at the same time? Does it do?
No, those scripts must be run from the database administrator manually. That's not automatically included in the.
Yeah,
No, but after the upgrade.
But yeah, does it change? Yeah, while it's being upgraded, does it also do the little management?
Yes,
it does that. So
It's part of the upgrade.
that's part of the upgrade.
Yes, could be.
Well, new functionality usually relates to new data into the database.
Yeah, all new. Yeah.
New data, but also rearrangement of those data. So yes.
So this is the workspace merge. I think we will talk about it when we show the graphic designer a little bit, but it's just a way to work with this new concept of workspace. Okay. But it's difficult to explain if you're not ever seen the graphical designer. So basically, it helps to have a collaborative development approach to the development actually of the definitions of the job streams and jobs. So it's a usability enhancement for workspaces. Okay, this is something that probably could be of interest for any customer, because it's the possibility to submit dynamically to the plan a group of job streams, basically. Altogether, there is a wizard that helps you to have a guided submission. So it helps you to build the group of job streams that are then submitted with a bulk submission altogether. So this is something that has been required for a while.
Long story short on that, you know how you used to submit 5 job streams and you put them all on hold and you had to manually add dependencies in? It's gone now. You put all 5 in, it automatically hooks them all up for you. So when you submit it, all 5 go out and you don't have to put out the dependencies anymore.
Thank you.
But there's no additional dependencies added into the plan, is it? It's just that same. So if you've got downstream dependencies.
I don't know the answer on that. You'd have to ask.
Sorry, come again?
If you've got downstream dependencies on that set of job streams that you're submitting, you still have
Downstream, you mean successors? You can either choose to include those or not.
Yeah, you have the option.
If they've already been planned, scheduled.
No,
so
when you submit, it connects to the previous predecessor, but not with the successor.
Can you submit all job streams within a folder?
Yes.
So you just select them?
That's one of the announcements that we included in this new guide.
Okay, so you can just specify the folder and anything within
You
that
can
folder.
select the folder from the preview. Same user experience you have on the orchestration monitor. You select the folder, you get all the jobs in there, you select all, and send.
Oh, you still have to select all. You can't just say all. You can't just select the folder and then
You
it
don't
does.
select one by one. There is a select all.
Yeah, so you still have to go into the folder, do a select all,
All
and then
and
the
then
submission. Yeah, okay.
And this is what Gabriele was also explaining before. So it's the possibility to nest job streams when you are doing this multiple job stream submission, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is not nested job streams. You can't have job stream inside a job stream. It's
In the group.
part of the submission process. That confused me when I see nested because I was
Yeah.
expecting to be able to put job streams inside of job streams. That's not what
we
happened.
probably need to update the title of this.
Yes.
Because it's a little bit confusing. Thank you
Yes.
for the
Sorry,
comment.
can I have a question as well? So all these new, is this just DWC 10.2.7 that can do these features? Do you have to have the engine running at 10.2.7? Or can you have a 10.2.5 or 10.1.5? Yet do this?
No,
I have to have everything.
You need
the
to-
engine
this-
10.2.7.
they
Yeah.
need to be aligned. Yes.
There were announcements both in the engine and in the
It's
WC.
not just
It's just
graphical.
It's the DWC that's actually getting, you have to actually move it to 10.2.7.
Yes.
That's the big ask, you see.
But we needed to change the code of the mountain.
How many nest level can you have? What's that indication?
25 levels.
Yeah.
There it is on the screen.
Okay. Next, I think this is something that you can, it's new as well. You can use multiple run cycle groups within a single job stream, and that makes the scheduling much more flexible.
Yeah, the idea behind this functionality is that previously when you submit a job stream, you could choose either now or specify date and time. What if you have a job stream which runs every 10 minutes? And I would like to submit all the 10 minutes instances of that job stream, or at least a subset of those instances. this functionality provides you the flexibility to do that. So I select the job stream, which runs every 10 minutes. Must perform the calculation and says, okay, and you need to give a range, of course. You can give the range until the end of the plan. The must perform the calculation gives you, okay, we have those instances from this job stream based on the run cycle, which is assigned on the model part, on the database. Which one of those do you want to submit? So you have also the flexibility to choose which one of the instances you want to submit based on the calculation of the run cycle assigned to the job stream.
And the really nice part about this, I've been playing with it, you have variables that are assigned to the run cycles. So one of them might be, daily, weekly, blah, blah, blah. And the variable that's assigned, when you do the submit and you use the run cycle group, it pulls a variable in, so you don't have to adjust any of variables.
Does that run cycle submission allow you to create your traditional run cycle group for your plan extend? So
yeah, it doesn't change anything.
This is only this is not included in any planning process. It's going to be separate for, say, my operators need to run a change delivery cycle.
Yeah, because you can create a blank.
So we can create a change cycle for them to submit at a point in time.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we have a question online as well about DB maintenance. Rasmus, would you like to unmute and ask your question, please?
Hi, am I audible?
Yes,
you are,
yes.
Okay. Yeah, it was regarding the DB maintenance script that has been introduced, I think from 10 to 7. Is that activity going to be an online activity, or do we need downtime if we are doing re-indexing, reorg?
We answered that before. Yes, it's an online activity.
So they don't need to be down. There is no downtime, right?
Yes.
No downtime.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Okay. Repeat that. Okay. This is a new plugin to send an event action for ServiceNow integration. So, is any of you using integration with ServiceNow?
Right.
No.
Right there.
Okay. So this might be helpful.
Yeah.
So
you have an abandoned job, you can raise its own ticket type thing. Yeah, so that'd be.
yeah, that's always been there. So raising an incident has always been there. This is raising an event. So if you're using ServiceNow Event Manager, you can now send events to ServiceNow Event Manager. So there's
So this is in addition to the old EIF that sends to Netcall, for example. Is that what it is, effectively?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is now a proprietary integration to ServiceNow AIOps.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what event manager, but yeah.
Yeah, so there's two different job types for ServiceNow, one for raising incidents and one for raising events.
Yeah.
Going to the different sites.
Okay, you probably all know the run cycle preview. This is not a new concept, but here we did introduce this also in the graphical design. So it's the same feature that you know, but added to the graphical designer that is growing in its list of capabilities.
Is that kind of what you want as well? That kind of view.
Yes.
Yeah, but it would generate. You mean generate HTML that you could browse, or?
So the HTML you've got to send off.
I assume. Okay.
Yeah, in an ideal world, it'd be great to do on the mainframe, but as a secondary, we can use it with the HTML to download it.
Yeah, yeah, you need to create a dynamic panel to emulate that on the mainframe. I don't think.
Okay, we'll talk later also of these questions on the waffle that we get from the customer.
It was just, that was kind of the display they were asking.
Yeah,
for.
of course.
Got to make sure that was it.
So what's new there? Because don't we have that today?
Yeah, but in a new UI.
This is in the graphical
It's
designer.
the graphical designer that probably you don't know much. So we will show you later. These are a few enhancements, usability enhancements on the orchestration monitor. Also here, I think Gabriele will cover later, so I won't spend too much time on this. These are best practices, so I think this is a kind of serviceability tool to help, analyzing the health of your environment, your workload automation environment. Obviously, we're talking about this.
Is that a new feature on 10.2.7?
It's yes.
Yeah, this type of functionality came from lots of cases. In lots of cases, we identify the fact that lots of customer environments were not properly configured as per the requirements and standards which we request and also document online. Example, the ulimit. Ulimit was not configured properly, the open files. So that could lead in the application not working properly. This type of tool can help in identifying those type of configuration which are not set properly, and of course, then the customer will change those configuration, avoiding to reach some issue during the usage of the product.
This is quite interesting for us because our environment's been around a long time and we've upgraded versions, but we haven't necessarily revamped our way things were scheduled. One of the things we were looking at is carry forward. Because we've got loads of carry forwards, and actually we've done the exercise, do we really need to have, or in the process of do we really need all those carry forwards, things changed, etc. So this is quite an interesting. We've also done some visualization through Datadog about getting the limits and stuff like that. So actually, again, something that can guide you would be quite good. It's quite exciting.
Is this in conjunction with the new documentation as well? Because that's been released now.
I'm not sure if it's connected to the documentation.
You know the help.blueprod.com stuff?
No.
Because there's a best practices bit in there as well.
Those have been written there for a long time. Now we are providing a tool which perform an actual check of those.
That is a document, let's say, showing the best practices tool. Best practices. Sorry, this is a tool.
Yes, but the two combined, are they? So the best practices shown in the
Maybe
documentation is the same as the best practices.
Basically, what was provided in the documentation now is checked by the tool.
Right.
And the tool can be run standalone by itself at any time you want.
Yes, it's a check of the environment.
And just out of interest, how is it analysing that? Is it going through your history, your schedule history to come up with those recommendations?
It's not going to the scheduling information, let's say. So when you said we have lots of carry forward jobs, lots of carry forward objects, that's not what it's going to check. It's going to check the system configuration.
Things like the limits, it's going to check unit settings, not workstation limit settings, which so it's not going to pick up the bottleneck if you're hitting your limit all the time.
No, it's not going to check the workstation.
Your definition is going to check the configuration of the
system.
Okay, thank you.
So this is another enhancement on the orchestration command line. Is any of you using the orchestration command line? The new one? Yes. Yeah, you are. Okay. So there are a few new commands that are available to provide more information when you do your queries and so on. I'll try to go a little faster because we are kind of behind schedule. So this is the real SP4 for 10.2 on Z. I'm going through the main enhancement directly. So the first one is about supporting the gateway that was already available for dynamic agents on distributed, also for decentric agents. And that's important. Why? Because customers who are using an end-to-end configuration based on decentric, now they can use gateways, so they can have decentric agents installed behind, with a firewall in the middle, and having so this is managing the communication between agents and the controller in a single way. So right now with standard agents, without decentric agents, without the gateway, you have a double-way communication. With this one, you have just one way, so it's easier to configure firewalls and so on. So this is particularly important for this purpose and to support some network-specific configuration. This is another enhancement on mandatory dependency. So basically, we have improved the mandatory dependency resolution. Is anybody of you using mandatory dependencies? These are dependencies that are useful to be resolved during the execution of the plan, because they stay there. There's a point that is fixed, and you can.
We're kind of using it more where we have event-driven scheduling, but we may not be able to sequence that event, but it tends to be just where it has to run before. That's where we're using it.
So this is improving a little bit the accuracy, ensuring the resolution of the dependencies properly executed. It's taking into consideration even archived occurrences, so gives you more control over this whole process of mandatory dependency. Next one is something more for the control, possibly has to do with how you play with IBM for the ICWS installation, because now we support the SMF product registration, and this is important for the system to track the usage, and it's something that was highly required for all the mainframe products, and it's a way to monitor the execution through SMF. So this is not a product feature, but it's something that enables the tracking into the system.
Would that help resolve the question we had a while back, where someone wants to go to a per job license to be able to track that?
No, I mean, this is still for value units.
Okay.
We can, the per job is just a commercial question. I mean, we could support per job.
But the question is, when somebody wants to do that, we say, okay, how many do you run? And they don't know. So whether we could actually record that information.
We can already do that.
Can we?
But they have to have the reporting feature installed.
Okay.
Because there we have the historical execution of the jobs, and it is an SQL query that you can run, and you get the count of jobs.
Right. So we need the requirement of the reporting database.
Right now we have that query that works for decentric workstations.
Okay.
Because we already support per job for decentric workstations. But if you replace the decentric workstation with the standard CPU workstation, then you get, I guess, the counts of jobs executed.
Okay.
So it's doable, let's say, with the reporting feature.
Fine.
Okay, this is another announcement. It's a requirement from a customer. I've been spoken to this customer, so today I need more coffee. I've been speaking to this customer, so I know very well what this is about. Basically, they are using in conjunction WLM promotion to a higher service class together with the critical path management, so the workload service assurance. They want jobs late on the critical path to be promoted to the service classes specified at critical job level, but they don't want to use a default service class as it's normal standard from the default configuration. So they want this kind of behavior that if the critical job has no service class specified, there is no promotion. So they want promotion only for the job, for the critical path of the critical jobs where the service class is actually specified.
And that would presumably be an option to do that rather than.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get into the last section. We have like 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this is just a customer scenario. You can also look at it when you will access to the slides. It was just because sometimes it's interesting to show what a customer is doing with the product. SEB is a Swedish customer, is a bank, I think in Sweden. They are using the mainframe solution with end-to-end, so they also use Decentric. And they have implemented a couple of scenarios that are quite interesting. One is about an integration with Jira, using the plugin for Jira that we deliver on the Automation Hub. This is pretty cool. It's like a human-in-the-loop workflow executed through this plugin. So they have in the job stream a job that opens a ticket to Jira. And until someone approves the ticket, the job stream does not go on in the execution because there is the job will be completed when the Jira ticket is closed, basically. So this is an interesting scenario that is doable with Decentric and plugin. It's doable even with ServiceNow, with other ticketing systems, I guess. But this one is interesting. And the other one is they automated the Decentric deployment, the provisioning of Decentric, and this was quite cool. It's an automated workflow through Red Hat Ansible. And this is simplifying and making a very fast provisioning of Decentric agents from an centralized automated deployment. Okay, now let's go quickly through the roadmap. This is what I like more to explain, because the timeline is not as important, especially when you are on previous releases. Maybe it doesn't make much difference if we deliver next feature in July or in December. But this gives you an idea of the macro areas where we are investing for the roadmap. So there are still some core capabilities that we are enhancing on both engines. So one for the distributed engine, one is the change management that I mentioned before for the workload automation definitions. So this kind of flow is supported by other products like some of our competitors. And we think we could be very helpful. Certainly, since you don't have this in our product from the beginning, you probably have other ways to do the same kind of work, to work with the definitions and DevOps cycles on that. But if we enrich the product with that, this is something that you could use also to open the possibility to multiple users to define their own job streams. Consider that we have a new graphical UI that is much easier to use for new users. Maybe for you it's not that fun because it takes more time than using, other like command lines and things like that. But for new users that are less skilled, that could be a way to introduce them to the product. And having a full change management cycle around that would also be helpful to control everything that is defined or changed. We are looking in the future to expand our managed file transfer capability, introducing a file gateway to support a real nesting of job streams, not the one that
I was just going to ask the question.
This is the real one.
This is the real one.
And introducing tagging for workload automation objects, which is something very flexible and powerful, associating a number of fields that can include variables and then use them in multiple ways, either for queries or for other purposes. So it can be a very important feature.
Kind of a bit like Operation User Fields.
Yes.
If you can do that.
Yes, exactly. Maybe this is just for distributed because on the we have used.
We've already got it. Yeah, exactly. Well, they have to catch up eventually.
More on Z, we are going to enhance the APIs that we have defined on for the mirroring. We are implementing REST 2 version 2 APIs for Z, so that has allowed us, when you use when you configure the mirroring, to use the orchestration monitor and the OQ queries even for mainframe workloads. Now we want to do more. We want to support the graphic designer for Z as well. We are still working a little bit to complete the enhancements on the cross dependencies for usability. The matching criteria are already there, but we still have a few things to implement and increase the level of the decentric end-to-end capabilities. We are looking at supporting variable passing as we do on the distributed side, also on the decentric, and gradually eliminate the need for dynamic domain managers in the network. With gateway, variable passing, if we introduce also the concept of pools, basically there's no need for introducing dynamic domain managers. On the DWC, as you will see also from Gabriele, we are investing. There is the new orchestration monitor, the new graphic designer. We are also working to start implementing a new graphic monitoring that will be associated with the orchestration monitoring. So not just a table view, but also a graphical view with the same technology that we used for the graphical designer. So you will have a brand new developed UI modern in a few months. And we are still investing on the automation hub because the integrations are more and more important to our customers. The timeline, we are still looking at deliveries. The spring delivery has already occurred. There will be one more delivery at the end of July, beginning of August normally, and one at the end of the year. So we are looking, this is the current outlook of the contents, but that can change, of course.
Because of a discussion we had earlier, I really want to point out the IWS and the IZWS, the developers are working on the top two lines, and there's a complete separate team working on the automation hub on all the applications. They are not the same team, so
it's not stealing resources from
no, absolutely. We have a dedicated team for the automation hub.
Yeah, and so just because there was a comment about that earlier, I wanted to make sure that we pointed it out that even though there are a bunch of automation hub additions being added, it is not stealing from development of IWS at all.
Totally separated teams.
Is that just now, or has that been?
It's been that way.
It's been that way for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Been like that for a while.
Since we created the automation hub, we had a dedicated team.
But within the DWC, we need a better way of loading and deploying plugins.
Yeah. Okay, that's something
Because
that probably is already.
That's not good.
As
it's already,
simple as it is, I agree 100%. It should be integrated.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's say that I think we have already ideas for this.
Yes.
So perhaps we can have, in the future, a call to share the design of the announcements and hear from your feedback.
Okay.
But we know that we have to do something.
And on the distributed side, the 10.1 end of support has already been announced for the end of April next year.
It's the next step.
Right.
So it's been announced for end of March 2027.
Okay.
But this is for distributed. Mainframe not yet, and it's probably going to be a year later because the 10.2 on Z was delivered later. So we cannot assume everybody has already migrated to 10.2. But 10.2 on distributed has been there for since 2022, 23, sorry.
You can't even guarantee it won't come off 9.5 yet.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a common issue.
Yeah.
We need to, probably we can discuss it later if you want a little bit. There is a strong difference between the level of how fast we deliver releases on the market and how fast customers can upgrade. So we need to find a balance probably.
Is that date correct, 31st of March? Because in the external IBM page, it says that date
30th of April, yes.
Oh, okay. Maybe this could be
10.1.
wrong because
Yeah.
I was assuming end of March. But what's on the IBM side should be correct. Yeah. No.
But there's
Okay,
no,
so I'll fix that, but it's end of April. Okay.
but there's no planned date for 10.3. Is that correct?
Not yet.
Okay. Because there are a large number of customers that won't go to the current version. They will always go current version -1. That's their policy. But without 10.3 being announced, it makes it very difficult. They have to do internal justifications for why they're going 10.2.
Because
How do we
we
overcome
guarantee that it's not going to be end of service before 2028. It's 3 years from now. I mean, I think that customers need to understand that they cannot anymore stay on a release for 3 years. It's too long time. They need to at least to upgrade every year.
But the continuous delivery model is 3+1
Yes.
for AWS. So they can stay for 3 years. But
On 10. Yeah. On
but does that mean
on
that
10.1 is
10.2 will be around for more than 3 years?
say it again. Sorry.
Will 10.2 be around on standard support for more than 3 years?
Yes, because it's been delivered in 2023, and we are saying that it will not out of support before 2028.
Right.
So the point is that ideally, if I talk to our development team, they will stay on 10.2 forever.
Okay.
Because they don't need to have a new major release. They go in continuous delivery. So one thing is probably we need to change the way we name releases. So we deliver 3 times per year. We could do like WebSphere, they're using year and months, something like that. So there won't be any more at 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, but we deliver,
The point releases now are almost version releases, aren't they?
Exactly. So there's a confusion between the fact that we use the modification level and the fact that it is a new release.
But in the IBM world, it's still the same. So
No,
the version is, 10.1 is going out of support in April next year. It's not 10.1, 3
that's
or
right.
4.
And this is because 10.1 was delivered with the old model. But 10.2 may, in theory, we change the name and we keep it forever. So it's we have one new release every 3 months.
But then that needs to be communicated.
Absolutely. I was just saying that we need to find a new way to define this, to communicate it, of course, because right now there is some confusion. I mean, I agree with you. There is some confusion between the fact that these are new releases, but are modification level. So we say they are like fixed packs, because they are. But there are also new releases, so we need a new way to manage this. There's
So a
confusion.
customer could say, I'm at from 10.26 to 10.27 is a new release. So they say, I want to go N-1. They then could justify themselves.
Exactly.
10.26 is N-1.
Yeah.
But
So we need the documentation to support that.
Yes, we need to change the way we present all of this.
But even in cases and tickets, people refer to the .7, .6 as fixed pack. And so then the customer can't, they'll say it's a fixed pack, it's not a release. So they can't justify internally themselves.
Not a fixed pack.
I know,
Officially, it's a new
it's
release.
conveyed as a fixed pack when things are fixed.
Yeah, no, I agree, there's confusion. We need to clarify that.
Essentially, historically, IBM's release system did not align up with what the intent of the numbers are. That first number says breaking changes. That's supposed to be the idea of the first number. If the first number, or indeed the second number, changes, there's scope for there to be breaking changes in the system. We kind of had a model where we said we'd update first or second digit every time we do a major release every 2 years, regardless of whether there was breaking changes or not. And the fact that it should be about breaking changes is why then we have to end of life the old one, new support starts with the new one. If you treat the numbers correctly, almost everything that we do is a third or fourth digit change. Fourth digit is fixes, third is new features, but new features that have no breaking changes to what's there today.
That's correct.
So we really should, for almost a huge number of IBM products, have been only moving third and fourth digits, but we just had this approach that every 2 years we do a major release regardless. And that's now increasingly going away.
Okay. So we need a way to communicate better all of this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So will the new software then become 10.3 or 11, not 0?
Yeah,
In that scenario you just said then.
So it's kind of like 10.2 should continue
until there is a breaking change.
Until like there's something we need to deliver that in order to do it, there has to be breaking changes. Right? That would justify doing a 10.3 or an 11.0.
So if you remember when we changed, from the previous database that was not a relational database was like I don't remember what's the name of the old database before we moved to DB2 or
Cardelli.
Yeah.
No.
This was in version 8.
Database.
But then you had the version 9 to 10 where you went from web
application
to Liberty.
Yeah,
that is a
that.
different architecture.
Not flat files, were it?
Yes, exactly. So in that case, you have a very big change in infrastructure, or when we changed, if we change the application server or whatever, if we change a big part of the product, then we should have a new release, a new
major version
release.
Major release. But right now we could go on 10.2 for a long time, so we need to clarify that.
I mean,
Then if we need for for external reasons to make it 10.3, we can do it, but it's not really in line with the continuous delivery.
I actually thought you were going to go 10.3 this summer or December, but then that only gives you a 3-year model, and then it gets really confusing.
Well,
10.2.5 is going to 2028. 10.3 will be 2029 because being 2026 plus 3 years.
So it's also worth explaining what that standard support number means, and it's minimum.
Yes.
And in fact, from the point that we announced that we start off by saying end of market, right? We're not going to sell this version anymore. That's actually when the clock starts. So it's that amount of time from the point that I say I'm not going to sell it anymore. So the timeline is not short. Now, to give you 2 examples, right? One in the breaking change case, right? I think WebSphere Liberty is a good example of this. Because Java under it, huge breaking changes between Java 8
and versions forward, so Java 11 and so on. We've essentially maintained WebSphere on Java 8 as long as we can, and it has to go away. Now, at the moment, we're saying that is 2030, and we're looking to extend it a little bit longer than that. But at that point, it has to go away because the programming model has changed. There is no longer support for Java 8 under it. So that move from the Java 8 programming model to the Java 11 plus programming model forced us to do a new major version. But in general, we're now trying to say, unless there's breaking changes, we're not changing the first 2 digits. Now, if we take Instana as an example, right, we acquired Instana on January 1st, 2020. It's still on the same version. And there is 0 plans to change that version.
I think we had this conversation about the standard support lifecycle being 5 years and 3, and there was panic in the room when it was 3. I think it was 2024 actually when that was suggested. The reality is that 3 could be actually, unless you're going to start putting another 3rd decimal on that release version, that 3 years is actually 5, 6, 7 years anyway.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So it's minimum 3, but it could be up to, it could be up to 10 on that premise that there's no breaking architectural.
That's the difference. So that's not really spoke about. We always thought it was just a flat figure.
Yeah.
We got 3 years.
Yeah.
From the release date.
It's actually the reverse. Rather than forcing you to move forward faster, it's trying to say this is a version that you should be able to do feature upgrades, fixed packet upgrades inside, in an ideal world, forever.
Okay.
We can try to make a statement to clarify that to customers because they shouldn't be waiting for them. Because we don't know when it's coming.
I think because some of us have been here for years and years in the actual product, we expected.
Yeah, no, I understand.
From your past.
Yeah.
From our past.
This has changed with the new continuous delivery model, and perhaps we need to communicate better this to our customers so that they understand better.
I think overall that approach is useful because if I'm looking at 10 point, we're on 10.25, I think, and it has everything that we need. There is actually no strategic value for us to go to 10.6 as it stands. And 10.7 has some interesting stuff that I'll have to take away and talk about. But it becomes a strategic decision whether the function happens, and I'm quite happy not having to worry about whether there's a bloody version. I've got to start planning for major infrastructure changes on and so on and so forth. So I think in some sense that actually makes it easier for me to have the conversation with the client about what version they want to be to.
Yeah, there could be a reason for making it 10.3 actually more on the Z side because there we have some requirements in our list that sooner or later we have to implement that require a change in infrastructure. So it would be too much to ask with a PTF. But then in that case, we may decide to align all the 2 products, but we don't know yet when.
But equally on the reverse of that, the longer you can stay on point releases, the better it is for mainframe customers because when they go to a release level, then they've got to run the upgrade process, which then triggers our whole.
The longer we can stay on 10.2 also on Z, the better it is. We are delivering releases in a different way with PTFs that is even better for our customers. Because they don't need to upgrade the product, they just install the PTF. But that's because mainframe and distributed are different.
The weirdest thing I think about the mainframe release cycle is mainframe customers get upgrade fatigue after about 3 releases, and never in the history of the mainframe product have we had a .4 release. Not once. No. We've had .5s, but we've never had a .4. When we get to .3, they just say, "I'll just add stuff as SPEs for a while." And we skip .4. So don't break that because it's a nice tradition.
So I think then, Chris, are we going to take an action away to actually write up that as a support document and that we can
need to create a statement?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, because continuous is actually supposed to be more about continuity rather than continuous migration.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you can write it, so I think there's a point here. It's that 10.1 is the one that obviously people that are on now, that has been announced as end of support. So it's almost like we need to address that and explain that if you go to 10.2, this is the way it will work afterwards.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, going forward.
To make some kind of announcement, yes.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is probably we should also include at some point an explanation of the underlying Java, what's happening there, and what we've announced around that, and that because that explains the break fix thing and when something might come in the 2030s. That'd be good to do that. I know we've done that on the WebSphere, but obviously, when it's used underneath the covers, I mean everybody knows it is. We should sort of like include that, I think, when we're writing this sort of thing up, because it explains it. Okay.
Okay, I'm done.